let's add in some stone. We add in some fuel and see if they all fire at the same time. Because then I did my job. Boom. There it is. Oh, hi there. This is KB from the future, and I quickly have to jump in here before we start this episode because I realized that building this general mob farm is too big of a project to be doing right now. But I'm gonna commit to it, so it's gonna take a couple of episodes to finish it. But what I'll do is, in each episode, I'll throw in a smaller project that we can do so that we can actually have something happening and achieving things. Now, these smaller projects will all be towards collecting the resources we need to finish this general mob farm. And yes, so that being said, let's jump into this episode. This is KB and welcome to Minecraft 1.14, where today we have to build a general mob farm. I was trying to think of things to do in this episode, and I thought about exploring the cave systems and finding a spawner, but then I thought that's gonna be one specific drop, and I think early game we need to try and find more general drops. That's why I want to build a general mob farm, so that we can stock up on some things we might need. Like, I definitely need some string, because I want to get into scaffolding. And let's see, do I have enough string to at least make a basic set of scaffolding? And I do. I can make 2 of it, so I can make 12. Nice. It's just bamboo and string. Let's quickly check this out before we get into any serious business, because I will need this for the mob farm. First, placement of scaffolding in my 1.14 series. And do I click? Oh yes, that's directional. So the direction you aim in, you'll do things. And if I want to go up, I'm guessing the bottom, yes. And then how do I climb? Do I spacebar? I spacebar. I spacebar. This is revolutionary. I like it. Okay, so while I'm up here, while scaffolding is working, I need to go exploring to find a desert biome. Because the design I'm going to use for this general mob farm is one of Ilmango's designs, and I highly recommend that you check his things out. He's a very technical redstone dude, and he makes brilliant content, and he explains why and what and everything. But he says, general mob farm, build it in a desert biome because you won't get so many zombies spawning, and that you don't really need that much. So I'm gonna go exploring. If my phone allows me, I'm gonna go exploring to find a desert biome. And there we go. I found the desert biome. I'm not sure how far it is from home, but home is in that direction. I'll get those details later. So what I'm going to start off with is by clearing out some space where I want to build this farm. And after that, we're going to have to work on getting all the resources. That's going to be quite the grind. But first, we need to clear a space. And I'm not going to be explaining every single detail of how to build a farm. For the technical details, please check out Ilmango's video. But I will be explaining the basics of how it works. And one thing I had to scratch for is the height you have to build the farm on, and it's important to build it. It sounds like it's either level 64 or level 63. So to be safe, I'm going to build on level 63 because it's a specific height that you're going to build in. And this is not a super extreme late game type of farm, but it's also not the most basic of farms. So keep that in mind. So let's get going. Let's clear out the space we need, and then we can start looking at the resources we have to gather. So I'm working on the last level here, and just one more level to take off. I have these dudes, my friends, keep watching me. Now, I was pretty close to them and they didn't attack me, but I don't want to start anything because you get what I'm gonna call is a bounty with these dudes. What do you call it? You get a reputation with them and then you get, um, what was it? But there's levels to it and then they start attacking you in waves and things with the villages and my villages aren't safe to deal with that yet. So I'm gonna try and avoid these dudes while I take away this last level. And that should do it. We cleared out the space and it's on level 63. Now the first thing I couldn't find, and I think is the most important thing, is how big you should clear out the space. So I'm not sure about that, but this should do it for this design. I'm pretty sure. And I think if we take a look at it, let me just get a blocked place in the middle. I'm just gonna have an estimate of probably there. Let's say, yeah, that should do it. That's more or less a center. Let's move it a little bit more this way. Just get my starting area round about there. Now the thing that needs to happen now is we need to collect all the resources we need for this build. Welcome back to the main base area, and as we realized, this general mob farm is a little bit too advanced to be building this early because we need to produce other blocks if we're gonna actually do this. So, the things we do need is a super smelter because we need a lot of building blocks and I don't want to use the basic cobblestone. Then we need an ice farm. We need to produce ice. We need to get some slime. So these are things we have to do, but we can't do it in one episode as well. So most episodes will have something towards the general mob farm. And then this episode we have to build a super smelter. Now the design I'm going to use is one of Mumbo Jumbo's designs. I'm using it because I mainly watch his things with a handful of other dudes. So let me jump into a creative world and we can take a look at this. A quick thing to note before we get into Mumbo's design is I'm a rookie at Redstone. That's why I'm breaking down these designs just to learn, to see how it works and to note any interesting things that I note that I did not know. Just want to share that. So let's take a look at Mumbo's design. The idea is you want to have more furnaces because then you can smelt up more things, but you want to get equal amounts of resources going into each block and equal amounts of fuel going into each block so they can smelt at the same time, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, speeding up the rate at which you can smelt things. Now, the important thing I noted, that's what I want to get to now, is how to lock hoppers. I did not know that. I want to show that, and then for proper details on this design, please check out Mumbo's video. So let's break it down. I'm not going to break down the whole design, but just the important part for me. You have your furnaces that smelts things up. It extracts into a chest. That's pretty simple. Now we want to input items, which we'll do at the top. That inputs items straight into all of them. But we want things to happen at the same time. So we want to do this. You will have just a random block there because you want to point hoppers into that direction. And yes, that's it. So you'll have your input chest items goes in, but now it will flow either straight through or straight into that one, won't be equal and things like that. So we need to lock these hoppers. So we add a redstone line, and once you activate that line, it should lock these hoppers. Now let's look at how to lock a hopper. We have items that flow through into this chest. You can see it's running. In order to lock it, we just place a torch right next to it, and that should stop it. The reason it stops is hoppers have a redstone signal, and placing the torch over there will invert that signal. Now, if we add a repeater into that block and a line over here with a button, once we send a redstone signal into this, it will invert the torch, inverting the signal from the hopper, sending items through. You saw it. Oh, we should actually check. 44. 41. Items went through. 38. So you can see how to lock a hopper. That word escaped me for a second. Now that we know how to lock and unlock hoppers, let's build it into this design. So we have items coming through and a redstone signal, which is not active now, but it will be. The redstone signal will lock these hoppers, so nothing will go through. But once an item reaches this hopper, we want it to send a signal unlocking the system. So in order to do that, we need to take a comparator output from this redstone signal. So block flows through, redstone signal into the comparator. Right. Now the other side of it, let's lock those hoppers. And in order to do that, we'll just place a redstone torch over there, and we will have a repeater going into that redstone line. So the torch sends a redstone signal into the repeater, into this line, locking these hoppers. So let's quickly grab some iron, and we drop iron ore into the system. And that should go in equally. As you can see, let's see it working at the top. You can see the redstone signal goes in, inverting the signal there. I made one small mistake. I should have placed this redstone line at the front, not at the back, because now we need to get fuel in. And I'll just quickly run through because it's going to be the same idea. Those will input the fuel, but now, no. Now we just need to add that line in that way again, so that we can have our chest, getting the items in. And then at this end, we need to add in that comparator again, taking the signal out to this redstone torch. That torch will need to go in to the repeater into a line, so now it locks these hoppers, and once an item goes in there, it will send a signal through. So we just need some coal, get the coal in there, and we can see it firing, and it should be placing them in here equally. 1 2 2 3 3 3, and that is it. So as I said, this is just a very light look at this design, because I just wanted to show how to lock and unlock hoppers, because that's the thing I didn't get until I watched the video a couple of times and I built it a few times. But now let's go into the real world, my survival world, and build this in that world. We are back in survival in the storage room workshop, and I cleared a room at the back here where I installed the super smelter, the furnace. It's not very super, but it's 6 furnaces and it's working well. So we have item input, we have fuel input, and we have the output folder. So let's actually go for it. Let's add in some stone, we add in some fuel, and see if they all fire at the same time. Because then I did my job. Boom! There it is. This is definitely going to help a lot. It's going to speed things up, and this is essential for our project in building the general mob farm. But yes, on that note, that's going to have to do it for this episode. We're getting some progress, but mainly we're working towards the big project, the general mob farm. It's going to take a couple of episodes, but that allows us to build smaller machines along the way that we need to gather all of the resources. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.